How did you think you did? How was it impactful? Was that pressure impactful?
Yeah, that's what we do. I mean, that's how we play. That's our style of play. We're aggressive. We guard without fouling. Obviously, today was a little different. We fouled a lot, too much to my liking. They was in the bonus with 15 minutes to go, but we was in the bonus also. So we both teams was fouling. But we like to guard without fouling, but we like to obviously pressure the ball and load up on defense. And I thought for the most part we was pretty good, but we had some mental lapses where we was hugged up on our man way too much, giving them dribble penetration, and that's not who we are. And when we cleaned those areas up, we was able to get stopped. But for the most part, we wasn't loading up like we should, and we gave up too many open looks.
Styles and Epps both had big offensive days. What were the challenges that they were giving you guys, and was it just them and their individual talent? Was it the scheme that Cooley was
It was
running?
absolute. I think it's a combination of both. He know who he has over there. Those two guys was on our scouting report. We know what they're capable of doing, which they showed tonight. And we did scheme for them. They was a point of emphasis, but at the same time, as a coach, you know, teams were scheming those guys, so he got to do a good job of getting those guys the ball on the move with space. And he did a good job of that. And them being individually special, they went out and made tough shots when we guarded them. When we was in front of them, just like we scouted them, you know, or our schemes, how we wanted to guard them. We guarded them for the most part how we wanted to guard them. They just took the individual challenge and went out and made plays for themselves.
And around the 15-something mark, there was just a little gamesmanship scuffle type.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just two teams playing hard?
Yeah, it was a
What
close
that
game. I mean, like I said, the highest lead was 7 by them and 4 by us. So it was a battle the whole game. And obviously those guys were aware what we did previous game against, you know, an SEC opponent. Now we playing a Big East opponent, and you know they don't want to be the team they to lose to a SWAC school per se. That's just how we looked at for whatever reason. But we come in with confidence, and we look forward to these matchups against a Power 5 conference. And our guys have a lot of confidence, and I have a lot of confidence as a coach. No matter who I coach against, I feel like I can beat them, and I feel like I have a group that can go and compete and get wins.
13 road games starting out for you guys. How do you get your team after a tough physical loss like this? How do you get them back on track, pull out the better things that you did to move on?
I mean, we're resilient. We're a resilient group of guys. You know, I got a bunch of dogs in their locker room, so I'm not concerned with getting prepared for the next game. We're ready to go. It's just me cleaning up some areas where we can get better, picking out the right clips to show them, so we can get prepared for Tuesday. And we got 2 days to get prepared for our next opponent, which we'll take full advantage of both of those days, and jump on another flight, go to another city, and play another game and compete.
The work that Zeke gave you, I think he matched a career high for you. Just how impressive was the energy? I know that's who he is as a player.
Exactly. You took the words out of my mouth. That's who he is. That's when he's focused and he's locked in on who he is, he's a really good player. It's just as a coach, you got to keep these guys engaged in who they are. Because, you know, sometimes guys want to get out of body and want to be someone else from time to time, and he's no different from anybody else. So the more we keep him engaged on who he is as a player, he's going to affect the game in a lot of different ways and not just scoring.
Talk about your journey as a coach. You were an NBA standout,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're dealing with guys who want to be in the NBA, but it's different, obviously, than out there.
I mean,
How have
it's
you grown? How have you grown? to be
well, I
a-
grow each and every year. Obviously, this is my 4th year as a head coach, 6th year overall, 2 years as assistant with my college coach in Northridge, California. Then obviously 2 years Alabama State in my 2nd year here. I grow each and every game. Each and every year I get better. I love competing against big-time opponents. You know, like Coach Cooley, I got a lot of respect for him. He's been doing it forever, seems like it. So just watching those guys and preparing for them, I'm able to see what they do, see how they run their team, and see what plays they run, what defense they run, their philosophy. So I admire those guys. You know, my first, I think this is my 6th or 7th game, you know, coaching against Penny. I'm coaching against a Penny team. I'm coaching against a Dennis Gates team, you know, obviously a Cooley, and you know, they all look like me. So that's inspiration for myself, you know, seeing guys that look like me doing it at a high level. So that always gives me the motivation to just keep moving forward and pushing forward.
There was a piece of advice that you would give a professional player now that would want to go into coaching similar to what you did on the college level. What would your advice be to them?
Just know what you're getting into, know what you're signing up for. Obviously, it's not a vacation. You got to work. It's not easy. And typically, we don't fall into big-time jobs, so you're going to be in a situation where you got to wear multiple hats. And obviously, you just got to have a lot of patience, but you got to understand that it doesn't matter what level you're on, you can compete. And it's your challenge to get those guys have a mindset to compete against anybody. And that's one thing I can say about my men is they have a mindset going into each and every game that they can compete and win the game, not just going out just playing. We feel like we can actually win. And, we fall short. We done fell short, 6 out of these 7 first games. But I guarantee you when we leave that locker room after the game, we don't feel defeated. We feel like we came and competed.
Talk about Coach Adams, he played here.
Mm-hmm.
His career got cut short medically.
Mm-hmm.
Stayed close to the game, obviously. What does he bring to your program?
I mean, obviously, as a player, he is as a coach. I mean, he's aggressive. I mean, he pushes his players. Our bigs, they develop each and every day. He stays on them. And obviously, he's got into coaching just because of his circumstances, so young. So he really has some experience in that area, which helps him. But at the same time, he has a story, right? He has a story to tell these young guys that sometimes don't understand that basketball is going to stop bouncing. You have no idea when that day will come. And for him, it was his freshman year in college. So just to have an understanding on other things in life. Obviously I was 34 years old, 33, 34 when I retired. So I tell my players all the time, look at me. I mean, if God just keep waking me up, I'm going to have a lot of years left. And I retired at 34, so I wouldn't, I couldn't sit at home and do nothing. So, to be able to have something that you love and you can do for a long time, that's something that really impacts you. Obviously, that's something that outside of coaching that I always talk to my guys about, just life after basketball. It ain't about the NBA. It ain't about being a professional athlete just in general. The most important thing is what type of man you become, because one day you're going to have a family. One day you're going to have some responsibilities which you don't have now. And I always tell them all the time, when they come in there and they up and down with their moves, and I say, God, y'all ain't hit life yet. Y'all should enjoy every moment that we come and practice. You shouldn't have bad days, and trust me, because once this thing over with and once that clock stopped in college and it's the real world, and on the 1st and 15th you getting a check, hopefully, guess what, on the 1st the bills due, and that's life. That's the stress of life. I mean, when you got a family, you got responsibilities, but you guys ain't there yet. So right now, enjoy every moment. Understand what's important to you, and that's basketball and school. That's the only thing that you should be worried about. You should be trying to get better at that each and every day. Challenge yourself as a student athlete. You're a student first, an athlete second, in that order. Because at the end of the day, when kids, and my kids are no different, I know it's everywhere, when you don't give 110% in the classroom, how can I expect you to give 110% on the court each and every day when adversity hit? Everybody's good when everything is good. When the adverse moments, that's when you see who is real and their character sticks out. And that's no different in the classroom. You can't depend on them in the classroom. You definitely can't depend on them with a tie game with 3 seconds to go. So, it's a teaching moment. Like tonight is a teaching moment. We played against a really good coach. They got some young players and some talented players. So I look at film. We'll get better. I hate to lose. Obviously, I felt like this was a game that we competed enough to win. But that, like I said, you got to give them credit. They made big plays down the stretch from their key guys. So your key guys step up, and we miss some shots that typically we make, and we make those. It's a different ball game. Appreciate you, guys.
Good luck.
All right, thank y'all.
Hey, can they establish position on Adams, or he be moving them out the post?
No, they can't.
know he wasn't gonna allow that, you know what I mean? Just when you can't do nothing else, but just push the ass out.
No medical issue that's stopping it.
Exactly.
Play by play. So, so Marcus, you're gonna be at Virginia on Wednesday?
I'll be at Virginia on Wednesday.
Bobby's probably not going to. I'm gonna be at Mason. Might be the wrong show.
Oh, you ask all the questions.
Who makes it plays Wednesday?
They play Mason.
Oh, Merrimack.
Mason plays NJIT.
Merrimack.
Georgetown plays Merrimack.
Who is Merrimack? What is this school?
That is a school in Massachusetts that moved up 4 years ago.
From D2?
From D2.
Close to-
Okay.
Yeah, so they're in the NEC. They're going to the Metro Atlantic next year. Have a really good defensive reputation.
The MAC is really growing, huh?
Yeah, they're up to. They added them and Sacred Heart, so they'll be up to 13.
And they have, and
Mount St. Mary's.
yeah,
is the last one.
yeah.
I didn't find out about Merrimack. My nephew actually did his senior year.
Oh, yeah?
In Merrimack.
Oh, wow.
They got a nice school down there.
Oh, yeah?
It's like an old Milltown, basically, from North Andover, I think it is.
Yes, yeah, right in the middle on the cusp. They put some new shopping areas out
Okay.
there, probably, where historically not a farm.
It's like Western Massachusetts?
No, it's just north of Boston.
Oh, okay.
Boston, right by Boston. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good seeing Tyler, man. He's right though, he started coaching early.
It's a head start.
A hell of a head. Hell of a head.
I was surprised Mo retired that early too.
Yeah.
He mentioned it, but
He really held
And
on.
the thing is that he still played. He still played 15, 14 or 15 years
Yeah,
old.
right.
Yeah, because he only played like a year or two in Alabama.
right.
Yeah.
So
I forgot to ask him about when he put Jackson
That's
State
Mo
on
Williams.
as
He
his
played
final.
on the
I
Bronx.
forgot to interrogate him about that
so
relationship.
here's what
I think he went
because
somewhere
I've
else
done
with
them for
LeBron,
Ribbon.
but he
Right.
basically ran
He
the
told
point
me
and,
when he was in
got a
Alabama
lot of wins with the
in October.
first time around.
He was there 2 years.
Him,
He
Danny
would go back
Gibson,
to Jackson State's
ran the
homecoming
point.
and stick
Next
around.
time
Wow.
Like that was important.
So that's clearly they had it on like
Jackson was a
somebody around him must
Well, he's from Jackson.
but still,
Yeah.
yeah. Somebody around him is a Jackson person.
I don't think he fights
So his top assistant was a SWAC player here at Jackson State in 2007.
He literally jumped right
Ball head dude?
Yeah, I think so.
Brown skin ball head?
They're not terrible at this.
Then jumped out there. Like I said, I didn't know he was here at
He looks like an ex-player.
Yeah, he's like 6'7" or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah, he looks like that.
He's gonna be.
I'm surprised my got President Martin.
What you got up today, man? What you got up for today, man?
I'm going home.
What?
I'm not gonna do Maryland tonight.
What?
Love Jackson State.
Who did they play again?
South Alabama.
You know he was playing.
That's the knee.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought
He
he
was
was
in
in
the
the
crowd.
crowd.
Leave him left.
Yeah.
He's at Coastal
You know,
Carolina.
he just left Fox.
Well, they get
His
Myrtle
son
Beach.
just-
Oh yeah,
yes.
the bar got changed.
I think way back in the day,
All
they
of
had
it.
Joined
Mac
Allison
that got
and
them. I think it was South
Andy
Alabama that got
yes.
them to the
Oh, he did.
NCAA.
I remember the Leopards.
Raniero
He
coached that
did
team,
some-
I think.
He did
Yeah.
reveal
Some kind of Panther or something in there.
Jaguar.
There you go.
You're in the right neighborhood.
Yeah, there you go.
Just a little south on the geography.
His parents and grandparents went to Jackson.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I just knew he'd be at the game.
Yeah.
But he must.
This was the,
Well, maybe
he
should have been in the
I mean,
standing.
dude had
Yeah, he
a
could've
career
been in the
time
stands.
scoring, but he did a lot.
Check with
Go
him.
Epps.
You said you're in a.
That's had a career
journalist
time
program.
scoring.
Yeah.
I helped run a.
I believe, I don't know
run a
this, because I
journalist
was looking
program
this up quickly.
At Deanwood
I know
Rec
this
for the Pox and
Epps
Rec.
is the
Okay.
first Georgetown player to have
Pox
two
and Rec
30-point
and
games in a
What we
season.
do is essentially
Since
is what
Rodney
I
Croft.
do here, but we have a new twist on
And I
it.
think,
They
see,
got
I think the last one to
podcasts, they
do
wanna
any back-to-back
new
games was
stuff,
Austin
so
Freeman.
we help them with their interview skills, mix,
Yeah, that is
organization, all that. in.
Austin
So we
Freeman
get
is an
mixed
assistant
with
coach at
team
Morgan
and
now.
Because I
podcast,
think it was
radio.
against
Put it
Asheville,
all in one,
Missouri.
help them understand what podcasting comes from. 'Cause they all, pretty much all of them have.
I remember that
They have
Asheville game,
interesting-
go back. I think
And
it
does
was
it
like-
ever reopen somewhere else?
I'm not sure.
Patrick alluded to
That, I remember that.
this is
That was a nice place.
what Epps is doing is what you and him are able to do.
How it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Did they move back to Arlington somewhere? Or where did they go?
I'm not sure.
Oh no, we all know that. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
It
right.
was,
I don't
we're
think
not
so,
talking,
but I
we're
don't
not
know.
talking about like reality, we're talking about dreams.
I remember when you
Okay.
Unless you're just messing with it, take the bills.
Right. I didn't think they did.
Nah, they trying to do it.
I think they got a bunch of those.
Uh-huh.
They'll
No,
just make
they trying to make Trump.
Yeah. Yeah. That is what it is. Let me see
They
if I
trying to
can
make
see
Trump.
this queen in.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. of this? Can I have some of this water right here? Can I? Oh man, I'm sorry. I just got to laugh.
We'll open with a statement from Coach after he sips his water.
Yeah, I just had to laugh. I'm sorry. Ooh. First of all, very, very proud of our men responding. We're a little short-handed today, having Rowan not feeling well. You know, hopefully we can get Ish Masood back. You know, when we see Jaden's hand, you know, he had a pretty good hand injury there. Jay Heath didn't practice for the week. So we've been dealing with some bumps and bruises like everybody across the country, but I was proud of our guys' resilience once again. Obviously, we got some things to clean up defensively. On the ball, rebounding, came to rear its ugly head today. But sometimes you got to do what you do to land the plane just to get the win. So very proud of our guys, proud of our late game execution. Really, really proud of how we executed. We got to stop here or there. It wasn't a defensive slug. Wasn't a defensive portrait. But I thought both teams did a good job scoring the ball. We were fortunate to make the right plays at the right time to come out with a win.
Ed, the work that Jay was able to give you today, ailing a bit and obviously getting the assists along with some key buckets, what did you think of what he was able to give you under the circumstances in
Well,
particular?
I'm proud of his growth. You know, again, if you look at where he's come from, I'm his fourth coach in 5 years. So trying to build that trust with him and trying to get him to understand it's about his growth and development along with the team. So I thought today was his best overall performance since we've had him, since we've been together. And I think that'll propel him to continue to do a little bit better. But I thought he was, I thought he impacted the game on both ends, and I was really proud of him.
Is Bristol becoming, maybe in your mind, a defensive stopper for you? Somebody who's, if somebody's hot, you can throw them on them and then kind of cool them off. Is that the role that you envision?
That's what we're trying to do. You know, again, I'm telling him we need an energy guy. We need a length guy. We need somebody who that's what their job is. And, you know, whenever you have somebody on your team that really buys into that role of being a stopper or whatever, I think he'll find his way to the court a little bit more. So I'm proud of how he's coming along. And again, we coach him very, very hard. We coach him very hard, and that's okay.
Hey, Dartrez, your mid-range game really showed today in an era where kids usually shoot threes and layups. Just how have you worked on that in the offseason, and how is it paying off right now?
Yeah, just trying to work on it daily, trusting my work, and just going out there and just being confident. And a lot of kids don't really, do the mid-range anymore, but I know that's where my strength is as you go out there and just play with confidence and do it.
And, Coach, for you, what was the message at halftime? Because it did seem like you were a heck of a lot more physical coming out the locker room second half on the defensive end.
Well, I think you got to give Jackson State a lot of credit. I mean, they were bringing it to us. I mean, they play with a lot of joy. They're coming off an incredible win against Missouri. I actually like their swag. I really do. I like their it, right? And that's something that we're growing into. But we got some pride in that locker room. We got pride. Our guys, knuckled up and did what we had to do. Sometimes it's not the beauty of the picture that it comes out, but the result is a win, right? So sometimes artists draw something, everybody says, well, that's ugly, but you know what? They sold 1 million copies of it, right? So we were the 1,000,001 copy today with a win. So it wasn't pretty, but it looked good to me in the W column.
And to kind of build off what you were saying a little earlier about, sort of the offense running the way you needed it to, especially down the stretch. That's 2 games in a row where people have made good decisions. You guys have made good decisions. Late second half in overtime the other night. How encouraged are you that development has come already with this group to this point?
Well, our staff is really big on preparation first and foremost. If you don't prepare, it's hard to win. And then our execution late game. We practice it every day. We talk about the importance of late game execution, right? I always say how we land in the plane, right? And again, I think our players have really bought into that. And again, it's not so much what we're teaching or coaching, is what are they buying into, right? So as the leader, as the coach, as the person in charge, it's more about getting them to believe and buy in versus just what you're saying.
Epps, they pretty much picked up 94 feet the whole game. Sometimes they pressed you as well. And you had a hurt hand. How was that challenge dealing with that constant pressure with a hurt hand?
I would say
it was a challenge. They pick up full court, but coach told us they was gonna do that from the beginning. And all week this week we worked on getting press. Coach had us doing drills where we were getting press full court. I feel like it helped us in our preparation. Like coach said, our preparation just helped us out tremendously because we were ready for it.
Do you feel like this is the best game you've played offensively?
I'm not really sure. My teammates were fine to me. I had it going for a little bit. I just feel like it was a good collective win.
Coach, even though you were shorthanded, the turnovers were low. I don't think you were in double. I think it was only 9. You had 4 at halftime. I know there was a point of emphasis this week after they turned over Missouri. How proud were you of these guys?
Especially being shorthanded and hurt. I'm proud of our men. It takes time to build. It takes time to come together with continuity, synergy, and chemistry. And we know, give them credit. Their defense has been really good, right? They play at a really good pace, helter-skelter. They run 2 guys at the ball a lot. But in saying that, I thought our strength came out. One of the strengths of our team is our ability to make perimeter shots. And I thought that really, when they were in rotation, we were able to get 10-toe shots. When you're able to get 10-toe shots, we can perform at a high level. We may not get a bunch of 2s, but 3s go in. 3s are more than 2.
And as much as the depth was a concern, I think there was the sequence at the end that Drew Fielder made the one free throw at one end and then got the block at the other. How much of a kind of a growth opportunity is that, and for you, given that he was able to make that positive impact late?
Must have been in a locker room, because when I spoke to Drew, I said that I thought that was his best overall performance. Right? It wasn't. We didn't do a great job in the first half physically rebounding the ball, but I thought he responded in the second half. His ability to pass, his ability to run offense, his length in front of the rim. He's just a baby that's still growing. I like where his future is with us. I think he has a high upside. I thought this was a big growth game for him, really good growth game for him. And, in the past, he missed the front end of the 1-and-1. So today we'll take 1, and hopefully on Wednesday, if he's in that situation, he makes 2.
Was there something they were doing in particular that was preventing you at times from getting the help side? Because it seemed like in the first half they got a lot of 2 feet in the paint.
I have to do a better job coaching the backside of our defense. Give them credit for what they were able to run, and they, found some holes in our defense. But that's just something we have to continue to get better at. It's a side ball screen. It's a side ball screen, and side ball screen. You got to make sure you protect nail and home plate, which is the midline, right? For everybody who's listening here, it's the middle of the floor, and we just were a little bit late in our rotation. But over time, we'll get better on that, right? Anything else?
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.